Hey everybody, get ready with me. Fat Phobia of the 90s edition. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Always good to see you guys. Okay, so I have been watching reruns of Ricki Lake. Ricki Lake was an actress. She might still be an actress. I really don't know. But back in the 90s, she was sort of known for being overweight, and it was a big focal point of her stardom, and it was constantly talked about. And I've been watching reruns because I'm like painting my room. Not mania painting, I'm actually doing a really good job. And she puts herself down a lot for being fat on that show. It's almost like, and I've been there. It's like she is trying to project to the world that she has admitted to herself that she is all of these things that people have told her that she is because she's fat. But she wasn't fat. That's the thing. Is like, whoa. Like looking back on those episodes, she's not fat. Like I'm heavier than her when I'm looking back at those episodes. And I just kind of, okay, so trigger warning, guys. To those of you who are sensitive to weight topics, I will be talking about eating disorders and fat phobia and stuff like that. So I was born in 1982, and so I grew up like in the 90s, in my tween and teen years. And I remember being 11 years old, and my parents made me do Weight Watchers because I was like, nothing against my parents. I'm not bashing my parents. They were just a product of their generation. And I think that, like I'm always saying, the majority of people in the world are not thinkers. Like my dad was a business owner, and he could think. He was really, really smart. He had a lot of college and stuff. But I think when it came to questioning social norms and things like that, or anything outside of the mainstream mind, I don't think that it really got through to them, because the boomer generation in particular got and get most of their news from the television, and the media was particularly nasty about weight. The 90s, heroin chick, for example, was kind of like in being really skinny, stuff like that. But yeah, my parents made me do Weight Watchers when I was 11. And looking back at pictures, I wasn't even fat. Like, it's scary. It's crazy. And it really messed me up. Like, it was like I'd wake up in the morning and be a person, but then I had to remind myself that I was bad because I was heavy. So I think that they attributed weight and morals, like, to be a moral standard as much as it was a beauty standard. And it's like, no offense, but like for such a feminist generation, like the boomers, why were they giving into this misogyny? And like, it's been my experience in life that men in general don't care about weight. I think that it's a certain socioeconomic class that I was in. I was in an upper middle class family. I was very well off. And it was very much about image. And I did not fit that image. I didn't fit the beauty standard. I don't think I really fit a beauty standard till I was about 19 or 20. So, and I didn't get picked on in school. The kids never picked on me for being fat. I didn't get left out of things. But like looking back on it, damn, I wasn't even that fat. like by today's standards, I looked relatively normal. And then like by my senior year, I was going to the gym every day and like running and hitting the sauna and stuff like that, and I got into like healthy shape. But this is something I do want to talk about. Now, when I lost all my teenage weight, I became very disgruntled and pretty embarrassed and upset by the fact that every time I would bump into people that I knew, they would immediately talk about my weight loss. It was like I started to realize that I was nothing more than a weight to anybody. That's family, friends, society. I mean, I would run into people 15 years later and they would talk about my weight. And I was like, that's really all you thought of me in school was my weight? Like, and that was really hard. And I developed anorexia. And I was also bulimic until I was like 26 or 27. I actually stopped bulimia when I started taking my addiction class. Because I think eating disorders a lot of times are related to addictions. It becomes addictive. You get dopamine and stuff like that. And I thought, like when I moved back to that area, that I deserved punishment. I deserved to self-harm, because being overweight, was considered a moral failing. And nobody wants to be immoral. And this consumed my life. Consumed it. And then, of course, I got made fun of for being too skinny. And everybody was like, "What are you, anorexic? What'd you do, go anorexic?" Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was fucking anorexic. And I had to go to the doctor for it. And everybody kept telling me what a good job I was doing. So, I don't know, man. I was watching Ricky Lake yesterday, and I just started thinking about all that stuff. And, like, I don't talk about it a lot because I feel like, I mean, I can look back on it and laugh at this point because it's so ridiculous. But at the time, like, I'm really sensitive, you know? Like, I think that, I was getting praised for the wrong reasons. And I was very isolated. When I was anorexic, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I wanted to disappear. Because I got this thing. Now, that's a psychotic thing. Because when I'm psychotic, I feel like everybody's looking at me. Everybody's watching me. And when I was anorexic, I felt like I was sort of like disappearing. But in that regard, it also drew more attention to me. Because people, if you're too skinny or you're too fat, people poke. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm kind of like me right now, sort of like average. This is pretty average by today's standards. Nobody says anything. Nobody says a damn thing.